Oh. It's tabletop time. After having only run content for a little over a month or two, I think it's safe to say that momentum is picking up and my enjoyment of running tabletop time again is just, I can't even explain how much fun I'm having, and I want to just take this to the next level. There's so much we want to do, and to make this possible, I am actually going to be doing tabletop every Tuesday. I'm taking a day out of my work week every week to work on tabletop time and make extra content. This is how much fun I'm having. This is also how much I believe that this channel can be big. I think there's a lot of fun that a lot of people can have in tabletop gaming and minis and roleplay, and they don't know it yet. And I'm looking forward to trying to be someone who can help introduce them to it. So I'm making this video to let you know the content plans for now moving forward, and there's gonna be a bit of something for everyone. Starting off with Mini Mondays, yay! From reviews and trying new materials and collabs, VR sculpting and printing and painting projects and dioramas. Wednesday is gonna be a great day for people who are unfamiliar with the complexity of roleplay, or maybe who just don't wanna commit to a whole big heavy thing, because Wednesdays is one-shot Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, you can expect a self-contained story, usually using cogent roleplay, and often in known worlds and stories and properties, like the Fallout one-shot we did, sometimes based on our own or in a collab spirit, like the Son of the Seraphim that we ran as our first one-shot back, and sometimes made up and just a bit of fun with friends like our Christmas special. It's gonna be a really fun way for people who just want to tune into something for an hour and a half without being overwhelmed by rules and dice and long-term commitment. Sometimes the best way to supplement your activity is with a fun story to listen to. And we're gonna provide one of those self-contained stories every Wednesday on One Shot Wednesday. Oh my God, this is exciting. And it gets more exciting. Fridays won't be a regular thing, but in the case where there's supplementary or peripheral or extra content. For example, one of the things I want to do is give a really more extensive tour of this big, beautiful role-playing camera rig that I have over here, which I'll get to in a moment. Or like the Q&A that we just ran recently. Maybe there's a prank or an update or a vlog or something like that. Free Fridays is where those videos will go. They might be few and far between, but every now and then, if you get a video on Friday, it's just extra. That's not something I'm committing to, it's just a slot I can use. Because I like compartmentalizing and categorizing things so you understand what to expect and I know how to shape things. But what you can expect is Saturdays, and sometimes Saturdays and Sundays, is where the saga continues. That's right, Saga Saturdays and sometimes Saga Sundays, but mostly Saga Saturdays, is gonna be where we continue our long form session. So every saga will contain somewhere around 20 to 30 chapters, about an hour each, which is probably the length of a solid audiobook, which will be set in one of our own stories or universes, currently playing in a cyberpunk campaign run by Dave. We're going to be doing some of the bigger stuff where we're gonna have character development and it's gonna be juicy and meaty and fun. Mini Mondays, one-shot Wednesdays, Saga Saturdays, sometimes Sundays, and Free Fridays. So you can expect 3 videos a week, sometimes 4, and if you're lucky, there might even be 5, but I'm committing to 3 videos a week. And as you know, I'm also committing to 1 day a week working on this. Now, frankly, running a different, much more successful YouTube channel, which is my full-time job, would be a much better financial decision to stay working on that 5 days a week. But as it's a creative channel and I need to refuel my creativity, my hobby has been the best way for me to do that. So really just giving myself that day to be passionate and explore and have fun with this stuff with you guys is gonna allow me to make more for you, but also play the game again from the start. When I say the game, I mean the YouTube game. I really like building channels and making things grow and tackling ambitious ideas and collaborations and projects. And in the spirit of sharing this with as many people and in as many ways as possible, that's where the podcast comes in. Now, previously I had put the podcast on SoundCloud and it cost me money to upload because they're longer segments. So I was paying to share it with people on a platform that wasn't built for podcasts. Whereas now I'm releasing it through Anchor, which means it's going to be distributed through Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and the Anchor platform, and more. So go check out the link in the description. It's tabletoptime.com/podcast. And please, if you're interested in that, or if you just want to support it so more people can enjoy it and hear it where they may not have stumbled across Tabletop Time on YouTube, following it and leaving a review or rating it is going to actually be a huge help in helping us pick up momentum on a platform Tabletop Time hasn't been on before, but actually really natively suits what we're doing here. Speaking of support. The last thing I want to talk about is Patreon. Don't click off. This is, I know where people tune out here, just blah, blah. Don't know what blah means. It's sort of like stay, just wait. Hear me out. I think one of the things I'm slightly self-conscious about people tuning me out even quicker is because I am a successful YouTuber. Like I'm financially doing well, but I've already invested a lot in tabletop time, and an extra day a week is not a small investment considering what that takes away from my earning capacity, frankly. But I believe in this. I really care about this, and I want to take this as far as it can go, and I have limits on how far I can take that. So I'm using Patreon not only as a way to make this sustainable quickly, but to give you guys really exciting access and rewards, voting power, cameos, and really cool, there's really cool stuff in there. I'll go through in a moment. But the other thing that's worth mentioning is that I'm in the unique and really awesome position to put 100% of what Tabletop Time makes on Patreon and in ad revenue and in donations and in merch sales back into Tabletop Time, back into edits and content, and eventually if this grows, if this is something that I can turn into something, you know, we're gonna need a cast, we might need space. Like this could be huge. But if it's gonna be huge, it's gonna be because you guys believe in it and you guys want it to be. And I need your backing for that to happen. I'm backing it, and I'm really hoping you're willing to too. So I wanna go through some of the ways that you get some awesome perks and rewards by supporting Tabletop Time on Patreon. And the lowest tier of patron is not to be underestimated. I mean, you get a special Discord role for the official Tabletop Time Discord and my eternal gratitude, but actually the Patreon update perk is cooler than you might think, because I actually post some really cool stuff there that only patrons get to see. For every major campaign and one shot, I actually post the original character creation and world building sort of back and forth between myself and my co-players, but you get access to how we came up with some of this stuff, and some of that is actually really funny content in of itself. The very first unreleased episode of Tabletop Time was released as an audio session because I was running it as a sound check and we played a one shot. That kind of exclusive content, Patreon previews and sneak peeks, that's all even in that bottom tier. But every single tier brings so much awesomeness with it. For example, the next tier up, the party member tier, is where you can start to vote on one shots. So for example, the Fallout one shot that we just ran was voted on by Patreon, and there's one currently being voted on. But your vote will determine if the one shot we play in might be in Jumanji or Star Wars, Middle Earth, or the My Little Pony universe. In this tier, you also get access to the VIP lounge in the Tabletop Time Discord server, where the coolest of cats hang out. And we also have a sustainability goal, which actually with the patrons we have so far, and thank you by the way, we're almost at a quarter. So once we reach the sustainability goal, this tier will also get access to monthly Patreon only videos, where we produce a video every month based on your feedback, based on your questions, and based on the things you submit. Which brings us to the next tier up, where once it's unlocked, you can actually not only submit your questions for myself or the crew of Tabletop Time to answer directly and play around with and feedback on, whether it be about your own campaigns or ours, but also, due to minis being a fairly concurrent theme on the channel, we can sort of really do some practical stuff too. Feedback on your mini projects, which you can submit in this tier of Patreon for us to give some ideas or some praise or some thoughts of what might improve it, how all of us can up our mini and creative game. Speaking of up our game, the next tier up is the Hero of Destiny tier, where you can actually shape an NPC with the narrator of that one shot or campaign that will end up being a guest spot. Now, I have included one of these in the Son of the Seraphim campaign. Nicole was a very vicious preacher who would stop at nothing to get back down to the earth below. That was a patron, and I spoke with her about her character's personality, and she had a good like solid few minutes in that story, and it's just based on a raffle which is picked randomly, and it could be 2 to 3 times a month or more, depends on how many sessions we're playing, but given the plans that I'm sharing with you, it's probably going to be a fair amount. Once the ball's rolling, and especially if we're sustainable, it will be more. So the raffle will be drawn, and you will have a shot in every single one of those to be the one who can create the NPC with a narrator. Depending on how the players react, your NPC may have a permanent legacy in the campaign or story. I mean, there is nothing stopping the players from killing or marrying or falling in love with or lying to, slapping or tickling you. Okay, that's weird. It's at this tier. You also get your name in the opening pre-roll of videos. Now, you haven't seen this yet because I haven't made it yet, but I am implementing this as part of the story, much like how Bob Ross introduces his painting and the colors roll across the screen at the bottom. It's gonna be that with this tier of patrons and above. Speaking of above, this is where things get actually crazy. And if you're a hardcore Tabletop Time fan, this is where you're gonna have a lot of fun. This is the narrator tier. So not only do you get double voting power of the one shot, so anytime there's a choice on the campaign or the one shot we're playing, you get 2 votes and you get your name in the opening credits first and bigger once we reach our sustainability goal. This tier and above will run as a rotating portrait sort of collaboration. What I mean by that is as I develop the official Cogent Roleplay app, I'm going to want to fill that with loads of character portraits in all different worlds and settings, modern, historical, medieval, sci-fi. So once we're sustainable and Cogent Roleplay is nicely in development, which I have big plans for as well, this tier of patrons will go through a chronologically rotating set where I will approach each person in order and then repeat and essentially create a custom NPC or character portrait that will go into the official Cogent Roleplay app, which we may end up using in games. You can use in your games, and it might be based on you directly. You could take a selfie and say, give me a beard and robes and call me Gandalf, and well, we won't call you Gandalf because that's copyright, but we can give you the beard and robes. Or if you have an OC and you have some sketches or illustrations, you will be able to be a permanent part of the Cogent Roleplay experience. And the other thing that unlocks with this sustainability goal thing, in this tier and above, you will have first access to rules discussions or even beta access to features in the app and website before anyone else. So if we're discussing a rule change or want to try a stat change or anything like that, the narrator tier and above will be the first to know about it, the first to be able to feed back on it, and the first to try it if it's actually a feature we can give you to try. And last but not least, we have the deity tier. We're going to assign the godly role, the deity role in our Discord, so everyone will know how amazing and epic and supportive you are in making Tabletop Time a thing. And there's a little private room just for our deities and the cast and crew of Tabletop Time to hang out with you if you have questions, maybe even more in-depth discussions on current campaigns or your own things you want to share. I mean, obviously, if you're in this tier, you're super passionate about the same thing, so I'm sure we'll have a lot of exciting things to chat about. But that's pretty much all of the Patreon stuff, and I've actually revamped it and just completely thrown in as much as I can, because the more that Tabletop Time has continued, the more I'm like, oh my god, not only am I in love and having the most fun ever, but this can be big, and I want to make it big, and I need your help to make it big. And to sweeten the deal and encourage your support, I want to show as much gratitude for it as possible and give you as much for it as I possibly can, while keeping attention and time and energy focused with you on making as much amazing content for you as possible. And like I said, all of the backing goes to Tabletop Time, goes to edits, goes to getting things we might need or hiring people we might need to do bigger and better things, and eventually maybe getting space, maybe getting expert help on things, or certain things you want reviewed or tried we can get. And all of this can go into building back into Tabletop Time, making more features, commissioning more artworks, just doing more for you and with you. And one of the ways that is possible is because of the amazing support of Blackmagic Design. I'm pointing over here mysteriously because this is the rig. Everything you see in all those videos of the one shots and the campaigns, that's what we're looking at. But the best parts about it are the Blackmagic cameras. There's 4 of them hanging. And of course, my monitoring and the Blackmagic ATM Mini Pro ISO, which you can use for streaming to switch between multiple cameras. One of the most useful things that I didn't know you could do with this thing is chroma key. So streaming software has really bad chroma keying and it ends up looking jittery around the edges and not great. I only just discovered you can chroma key with this, so I can chroma key and send the chroma keyed video file into my streaming software and have a really crisp, clean, beautiful stream setup. I just want to give them a lot of love and shout out, not only for making it possible, but actually being the best video production brand company on the planet. They cover everything beautifully. You can start editing in DaVinci Resolve for free today. We use the free version in our studio for all of my channels. My vlog channel, my main channel with over 5 million subscribers, this Tabletop Time channel. DaVinci Resolve is so much better than everything else and it's free. The color grading, oh my God, is so good. But if all of that is too intimidating and you're just getting started, they have the cut page, which is like DaVinci Resolve Lite, and it's all in the same program. You can just use the cut page to do all of your audio mixing, even some special effects, and your color grading in the one tab. It's so good. I can't emphasize enough how much you guys should check out DaVinci Resolve and get it for free because you've got nothing to lose. And then if you want to start streaming, go check out Blackmagic's products first, specifically the A10 Mini Pro and the A10 Mini Pro ISO. A10 Mini Pro ISO, as you record and stream, it actually creates a DaVinci Resolve file that you just put it into, and it has all of your raw recordings of every camera angle as well as the switching you did live. It's so good, guys. And it's just one of the things they make that is so much more affordable and accessible than everything else out there. And they made tabletop time come back from the dead. So a lot of love for DaVinci Resolve and Blackmagic. Those guys, that works in magic. That's it. That's what this video is. I guess this will be the channel trailer because it'll make it clear to everyone what content to expect on this channel, what you can expect in return for your support, the amazing people who support us as well, and my way of just telling you how excited I am to put everything I can into this and make it as exciting and fun as I can, because these hobbies have given me so much, and I want to use them to bring the same fun and joy to you. And I can't wait to see where we can take this. It's communities like ours that actually make YouTube an incredible place to be. I've been doing this this is my 9th year as a professional YouTuber, and I'm feeling something brewing in the tabletop waters, people. Subscribe if you want to join in, and we will continue to share our shenanigans, stories, projects, and more into the future and beyond. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.